Off the top of 10, President Trump getting involved in the D.C. mayoral primary less than a week from Election Day. What he's now threatening if one of the candidates gets elected. The future of AI in the classroom. The Northern Virginia School District set to vote on guidelines for the quickly evolving technology.
This is what it looks like on day one of the World Cup.
Nothing beats this at all.
Tonight we are hanging out with fans in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Your news starts right now. Hi, everybody. First tonight at 10, severe thunderstorms moving through the D.C. region tonight.
And we've just learned the storms are deadly. Maryland Capitol Park Police confirming a woman has died after a tree fell on her. This is while she was walking on the Matthew Henson Park Trail in Aspen Hill in Montgomery County. One of several reports of trees and power lines falling across our region. Let's start things off with meteorologist Mike Thomas. He's here with the first check at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, very unfortunate news to hear there. And unfortunately, tomorrow we could be in for another round of these strong to severe thunderstorms, most of which now east of the Chesapeake Bay. Still some ongoing, though non-severe, down across southern Maryland at this hour. We'll take you in, though. Those storms, as they came through the immediate D.C. area, on the violent side, all of these kind of little icons you see are reports of trees or power lines down across the area. And some of them just generally say, like one in Fairfax County, numerous trees and wires down across the county. In fact, I know in this Fairfax County itself, over 20,000 people without power right now. In fact, across Northern Virginia, more than 70,000 folks without power as of the latest check-in. Storm Tracker radar here live in western portions of St. Mary's County. Still have some heavy cells going through. Again, at this hour, that is not severe warn. Not even seeing a lot of lightning with it, just some heavy downpours and perhaps some isolated gusty winds, but at this point, not severe. Eastern Shore, there were warnings that just expired. So at this moment, we are warning free across the mid-Atlantic region, but we'll continue to monitor things. After our hottest day of the year so far, we almost hit 100 degrees this afternoon, 99 here in Washington. Not a record, if you can believe it. The record high was 101. Earth Cam showing you quieter skies, still some raindrops coming down, though, across the immediate D.C. area. 73 down is what we're down to there at Reagan National. Dulles at 73. BWI Thurgood Marshall, 74 degrees. Tomorrow, sunshine, the heat's back, the humidity is oppressive, and by the evening hours, we are watching for another round of these strong and severe thunderstorms. We'll have the latest timing with Futurecast coming up in just a few more moments. Angie.
Thank you, Mike. Turning now to a Fox 5 News alert, 3 teenagers arrested for last month's brawl inside of that Navy Yard Chipotle. D.C. police arresting 2 16-year-olds and a 15-year-old in the case. They've all been charged with simple assault. Police are still searching for a 4th suspect in that brawl. Take a look at your screen. You can see him right there in these photos. D.C. police and the FBI now offering a joint $6,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest.
President Trump is weighing in on next week's D.C. mayoral primary, threatening home rule if one of the top candidates wins. Today, the president speaking out against D.C. councilmember Janeese Lewis George with early voting already underway.
Well, I wouldn't like it, and maybe we'd take back Washington, run it on the federal basis. We won't put up with it. We're not going to lose our business.
Polls show her leading over the other frontrunner in the race, former councilmember Kenya McDuffie. Tonight, in an exclusive interview you'll see only on Fox 5, Lewis George responding to President Trump's threats.
We're not going to get ice off our streets by fearing this president, and we're not going to protect our rights or home rule by obeying in advance. And threatening home rule because you do not like how residents vote is an attack on democracy itself. And the people of D.C. elect the mayor of D.C., and they want someone who will stand up to Donald Trump.
And you can catch my full interview with candidate Janeese Lewis George coming up on the Final Five tonight at 11:30.
Tonight, authorities are investigating after a massive 8647 appeared on the grass of the National Mall. It is being interpreted by members of the administration as a threat to President Trump.
Fox 5 City Pursing live in the newsroom with the latest details tonight.
Yeah, so first of all, this 8647 marking, it is enormous. Let's give you a look here. U.S. Park Police confirmed the numbers were first noticed before noon today in the grass of the west lawn of the Washington Monument. Right now, police don't know who or what specifically caused that discoloration. operation. But we do know, as you mentioned, that members of the administration are interpreting it as a threat to the president. The number 86 is, of course, often used to reference getting rid of something. Trump is the 47th U.S. president. The Department of the Interior told Fox 5 deranged vandalism on our National Mall will not be tolerated and that any threat against the president is taken very seriously. A White House spokesperson also told me tonight in a statement, anyone who engages in or endorses political violence or assassination culture must be condemned in the harshest terms possible. They should also immediately seek psychiatric help to treat their severe and debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome. Retired FBI agent Richard Kolko just told me that law enforcement has to take this seriously, but whether it's really considered a threat against the president would depend on what else they find.
One of the things investigators and prosecutors have to take a look at is if they see a threat, is there some intent, is there some capability? And having the grass cut in that form on the National Mall, that's probably a stretch. This sounds like it could be, as the Interior Department said, a case of vandalism of one of our national treasures. If you look at the photographs that are available right now, it certainly looks like somebody probably planned it out a little bit. It wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment decision to do this. So whether it was a lawnmower or some chemicals or even just the sun turning the grass a brown color, they'll figure that out using surveillance, witness interviews, and any forensic evidence they can find at the location.
Now, former FBI Director James Comey, you might remember, was actually indicted in April after posting a photo of seashells spelling out 8647 on Instagram. Comey vehemently denied that that was at all a threat or a wish for violence against President Trump. Now, keep in mind the numbers on the mall. They were discovered just ahead of the president's birthday and the upcoming UFC match outside of the White House. That's on Sunday, and also just ahead of America 250 celebrations where security no doubt will be heightened. Rich Kolko there added, in this very sensitive time, you should always report anything that you see that might feel suspicious. Park police officers say grass samples have been collected for testing. Back to you.
We are getting our first up-close look at the UFC octagon built at the White House. The fight will cost more than $60 million, according to court filings. It is reportedly being paid for by the UFC and other groups. It also says up to 900 staff came in to help set up the event. The fight is set for Sunday night. 14 fighters compete on the stage on the South Lawn Octagon in time for the president's birthday. Several road closures around the National Mall took effect around 10 o'clock tonight. Many of those run through Monday.
Boat tour companies on the Potomac say that they are worried that 4th of July security plans could leave their businesses high and dry. And it comes as the White House is eyeing a record-breaking fireworks display for America's 250. But operators say that it could mean parts of the river will be shut down. Cruise companies say that could cost them if the Potomac is declared off limits.
Yeah, I mean, the sooner the better, or at least be appreciated, because we don't seem to be getting straight answers from people that we ask in power. This is America 250. I mean, everybody's been advertising this since November. It's 25 days before we're going to learn a massive piece of logistical information. It's just wrong.
During a briefing this week, Deputy Chief of Park Police would not say if the river will be closed.
Firefighters in D.C. battling an intense fire that sent smoke billowing above the city over towards the Capitol. A two-story row house along 8th Street Southeast went up in flames tonight. The fire spreading from the home's rooftop deck to other nearby buildings. One firefighter had to be transported to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The fire is contained at this hour, but crews are still working to put out hot spots. There was no evidence of an attempted abduction at Dean Park. That is according to Manassas City Police. Over the weekend, police responded to a report of a masked man trying to lure a 4-year-old girl with candy. Investigators identifying that man as Tony Rivas Nolasco. They say he was intoxicated at the time. There was no intent of abduction, but Nolasco has been charged with wearing a mask in public.
An elderly woman charged with reckless driving tonight. This is after crashing her car into a Sterling Goodwill store. Police say 79-year-old Martha Corvelli drove through the window of the building yesterday on Manifest Boulevard. 6 people, including a child, were hurt. All of them are expected to be okay.
All right, let's move on tonight. A heated debate over screen time and artificial intelligence is still underway in Fairfax County.
Yeah, school board members are now considering several proposals that could change how some of the district's youngest students use technology, both inside and outside of the classroom. Sharon Roget has been following the story closely, and she joins us live from outside tonight's meeting with the very latest. Sharon?
Yeah, Jim, Angie, school board leaders and members are still inside, going back and forth on this issue that is clearly so important for this district. They're talking about potentially changing the wording of these motions, combining them. But ultimately, the decision tonight is whether or not the youngest students in the district should have less access to devices, whether or not parents should be able to opt out of their kids bringing this technology home, and of course, the definition of AI inside the classroom. I spoke to a lot of parents tonight who are very concerned. They are looking at data that is pointing to how detrimental it can be to have this much screen time lead to bad mental health for their students.
I'm worried that my kids are at best going to be distracted and at worst something else, because their information is out there. They are, that is the 21st century danger. And we need a 21st century fix to it.
You hear sort of really terrible stories from parents who say, well, I have to lock the computer away at home because my student wants to be on it all the time. My child wants to be on it. There's issues with the firewall where they're able to get onto more websites than parents want them to be able to get onto.
Yeah, so at tonight's meeting, the proposal comes as school leaders across the country grapple with how technology belongs in the classroom. In Fairfax County, school board members are about to vote on whether there should be a requirement for annual parental consent for take-home devices, whether they should ban essentially district-issued devices, Chromebooks, iPads for kindergarten and first grade students, and those that do not need instructional needs for a device, and developing a digital literacy plan that includes guidance on artificial intelligence. Supporters say that the move would give parents more say and help address concerns about screen time and online safety. But others argue that technology remains an important learning tool and that students need to be prepared for a future where AI is increasingly common. We did speak with Superintendent Dr. Michelle Reed earlier today.
We know instruction happens best human to human and conversation to conversation, so we're never going to lose that. What we want to think about is what is the thoughtful use of technology and how will it enhance what's able to happen in the classroom.
Again, we are expecting a vote that could come any moment. They are discussing the motions as we speak. We'll bring you an update here on Fox 5 as we get it, guys.